Rolling. What's your favorite quote from South Park?
Oh, I think you're going to appreciate this one from Kyle. In the 6th episode of the first season titled Death, he says, I think that parents only get so offended by television because they rely on it as a babysitter and the sole educator of their kids. This went on to be the inspiration for the plot of their movie, Bigger, Longer, and Uncut, which I believe they produced after their first season. It was a really ballsy move to make a movie after their first season, which was only 6 episodes long.
I know you're an avid watcher, and it's actually, you're somebody who's introduced this to me and kind of trying to make it stick like a Band-Aid.
In the worst way. In the worst way. Because I know that the presentation is definitely not up your alley, but I've always tried to hammer home it's about the content. The presentation is absolutely absurd. It's ridiculous. It's completely satirical, but it's also shitty. What do you want them to do? Sometimes they only produce an episode in 6 days.
Yeah, so when this show won the Peabody Award in 2005, the citation said, quote, in the process of unapologetically ridiculing individuals and groups, the series pushes viewers to confront broader issues such as racism, war, mob mentality, consumerism, and religious fanaticism. And you should know, a Peabody is the highest honor in broadcasting.
Who decides that?
Good job, South Park.
Who decides that? Well, congratulations to South Park, but who the fuck decides that this is the highest honor? Who decides anything's the highest honor?
I think it's probably white men at the end of the day. And they're now starting to have to let in women and ethnics. And they're probably really pissed about it, too.
Yeah, I don't imagine they're happy.
They were when they started having to open those doors. Oh, man.
Right.
But yeah, today we're going to talk about South Park. And we're going to talk about their creators, Trey Parker, Matt Stone, some of the characters, particularly Cartman, because we have to, and the conflicts and controversies they get into. As always, it's Saif and Sweet T. Happy to be here. We're worldwide, baby. Follow us on social medias and let us know how we're doing.
You may find us on Instagram or Facebook by searching for the Catch the Sky podcast, or on Twitter at CTS Terri or at CTS Saif. Yeah, these two guys are brilliant. That's what I've been telling you this whole time. They might act ridiculous, but they're brilliant. It's like me. I relate to these guys. Like, you know me. I am not what you would find in, say, a professional setting, but I consider myself someone brilliant.
You do think highly of yourself, yes.
He sure does think highly of himself, doesn't he?
And your abilities.
Hey, we've kept this fucking thing up in the air for how many weeks in a row now? Let's go.
We're doing it.
We're over 6 months in a row.
I knew nothing about these guys. I knew that they did Team America, and I knew they did basketball, and then I had to listen to, was it episode 3?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. The sound on that podcast, by the way, was really atrocious. I am so sorry. That's why yeah.
I told you earlier, we've been learning and growing.
I was on a Bluetooth headset, just walking around my neighborhood. And
yeah, you didn't even have a microphone at that point in time.
I did not. I had to buy the podcast for beginners kit. Pretty soon, one day I'll own a whole studio.
Mm-hmm. Yep. But back to Trey Parker.
Guys, yeah, I knew nothing about them. And I did some NPR research, so you know it's accurate. And they met at CU Boulder in college, bonded over a little Monty Python, and had some success with some short films. Shorts were less expensive to make and not quite like some of the Scorsese-like epics that their fellow classmates were doing. They wanted to do comedy, and it got passed around like cassette tape to cassette tape. And it was their Frosty the Snowman film, and then later on Spirit of Christmas, which I've never seen but are available on YouTube.
Classics.
But it went viral, and Comedy Central picked it up. And now, like T, they have a legal standards and practices review to make sure that the content they put out doesn't piss anybody off.
Well, I think they can pretty much get away with almost whatever they want because, as we discussed in our Pepe Le Pew episode,
how dare you?
As long as everything has a warning or some sort of plaque or indicator, whatever, beforehand that gives you some context as to what you're viewing,
yeah,
then you're free to do pretty much almost anything, right? As long as the context is there. And it explicitly says at the beginning of every episode that this episode should not be viewed by anyone. In addition to a number of other things. But they're telling you that you shouldn't be watching this. So if you want to continue to watch it, it's at your own discretion.
Which is what we say on this show.
Yeah. And we just question why the fuck people are here. But they keep showing up. See, we're taking the South Park approach this whole time, and you didn't even know it. Because South Park... I don't want you to turn me into an emoticon and put us on YouTube. I'm not interested in being a big fat kitten. Or whatever the fuck you're trying to turn me into. I don't know what you're trying to do. But I've had people tell us in feedback that they would want some type of video concept. It's going to happen eventually. You got to be ready for it.
We need more interns. We need more interns.
Well, we ordered these fancy little microphones. You know what we're going to need to order next?
We got business cards.
We're going to need to order
business cards.
Fancy little cameras. We're going to need to order fancy little cameras.
Look for our business cards. Yep. I'm going to come to your grocery store parking lot soon.
Jesus. Oh my God. Oh God.
But no, these guys are children. I would agree, and yeah, we're childlike. But I think that's how they get away with the jokes because it's only supposed to be kids. It's crude kids. I think Family Guy, other shows, Simpsons, Bart Simpson gets away with this. I just think the animation on The Simpsons is so much better, and The Simpsons have been doing exactly what South Park has done, but it's just a different style, and I would say much more raunchier. For sure.
Oh, yeah.
Which is also us. We've been compared to Ren and Stimpy, who, again, I never watched them.
What?
I never watched them.
Well, anyway, Trey and Matt already created an episode of South Park called The Simpsons Already Did It, proving that they're aware that they're not the first ones to do this and probably won't be the last. Mm-hmm. You bastard.
So I figured it out. I was in Abu Dhabi, and for people who speak American, Abu Dhabi. And that's when this show came out. And I could not get access. Plus, it was on cable. Cable was a premium thing, and we never had cable as a kid. And the only reason we had not got cable is because we moved to the suburbs, and in the suburbs, you couldn't get bunny ears, antenna, anything. You got fuzzy, whatever.
Yeah.
And so we had to fork it over to the cable man. Now I live in the hood, where I get bunny ears galore.
Gotta love the hood.
Honestly, it's better. Like, I can't imagine living in the suburbs. But, again, that's where Trey and Matt, they grew up in the Denver suburbs.
That's where I grew up.
I want to say Littleton. Yeah. You grew up, so you're a suburban knight.
Well, yeah, pretty much. But this show, I often see a meme that says, how does a generation that was raised on South Park and Family Guy become so sensitive about everything? And I don't ever respond because I've just given up on any of that social media nonsense. But I think it is that this generation has learned a lot through those shows, through the lessons that they're actually taught in those shows. And they actually start to see the injustices in the world for what they are. And they're like, Jesus Christ, this world is fucked up. It's so weird that a cartoon has to fucking point it out to us, but whatever, the point's getting across.
So you're now arguing that South Park is making the world a better place?
They're trying to educate people, I think, just like we are. Are we not trying to make the world a better place? Well, that's the whole fucking mission.
Really?
We're trying.
We share a lot of misinformation on this show. I think we had a vaccination episode where we encourage people not to get it.
and
yeah, we're making the world a better place.
Saif, this morning, a friend of mine had her vaccination appointment canceled because they're not distributing the vaccine here anymore.
It is April 13th, 7:43 p.m. Mountain Standard Time on my end out here in Arizona. And yeah, there's been some side effects. There's been some hiccups in factories in Baltimore and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, if anybody was listening to our show, because that's the thing, is nobody listens. So nobody gives a shit about Cartman or Stan or Kyle, and they're not like, oh, what a pearl of wisdom tonight. They just laugh at it and escape. All this is escapism.
For some people.
It numbs us for many people, I would say. It's just entertainment.
Yes.
It's just vile, filthy entertainment.
For many people, correct.
And I prefer to watch the Suns game. You know, that's me, T.
I ingest it a completely different way, though. I see it for the brilliant satire that it is.
Well, one of Peabody.
Yeah, man. So if the experts are telling you that it's good, and I'm telling you that it's good, it's going to take Saif.
Well, Cartman.
Cartman.
I'm going to help you out here because I don't give a shit what his name. Cartman, whatever.
If you keep calling him Cartman this whole episode, you bastard.
Tomato.
There's a T in there.
All right, so I have an accent. Don't make fun of my linguistic inabilities to say someone's, yeah, all right? My name's been getting fucked up for 41 years. Deal with it. No, this guy's top 10 on the TV Guide list of top 50 cartoon characters of all time. Cartman.
Mm-hmm.
According to NPR 2008. Is that your source?
Nice, nice. Do you have the top 10 in front of you by chance?
I do not. No, of course. That was, again, this was in 2008. So the list is likely evolved.
Oh, I bet
changed, again, depending on, yeah.
I bet you Rick and Morty has broken in there. I bet you they're on the top 50.
There you go.
Anybody that can influence a corporate chain to produce something through a cartoon, I mean, has to be somewhat culturally significant, correct? Things like cheesy poofs and Szechuan sauce.
They are not in the top 10. I just did some quick internet research.
Well, what they've done, and this is, again, you think it's brilliant. I just think they're repackaging something from the past, a variation of. So Cartman has been compared to little Archie Bunker, little Jackie Gleason of the Honeymooners, and little Fred Flintstone. Although I think they did a kid's Fred Flintstone. But again, just an overweight, problematic, money-chasing, bigoted kid. I mean, that's just...
Yeah.
That's how he's been described right?
Yep. You've hit the nail on the head.
I appreciate that he's the walking id, and my professor at at the university I attended, at the American George Washington University. We go to the university. So he's a walking id. He is the id factor. He is your darkest dreams. And so I respect it, but I don't need to watch every single episode. Right now, currently working through Seinfeld. Honestly, just as funny, only it's real people. Like Julia Louis-Dreyfus, now that I'm revisiting her, like she is delightful. Michael Alexander. Hell, even Kramer. People compare me to Kramer.
You mean Jason Alexander.
What did I say?
Michael Alexander. It's Michael Richards.
Emby Alexander.
It's Michael Richards.
I got
yeah.
No, Emby Alexander on the brain. What up, Michael?
Shout out.
You were trying to introduce me to some music tonight.
Yeah.
That wasn't Emby Alexander.
Oh, sorry. You were feeling it, though. You were jiving with it.
It was a good beat. It was a little dark. It was a good beat.
Oh, yeah.
Serotonin, Girl in Red.
Mm-hmm.
It's a hot track, T.
Oh, yeah. I got some other ones for you, too.
So we're talking characters now. And I want to get to controversies at some point because that's the fun part, T. But if you want to talk about some more characters, by all means, the floor is yours, sir.
Well, everybody knows the four main boys. Stan, Kyle, Cartman, and Kenny.
Assume that your audience doesn't know.
Well, they've been introduced. Kenny's the one in the orange jacket that they always kill off. Cartman is the fat one that you've described. Stan is basically the everyman. The show is basically supposed to be more or less from his perspective, and Kyle is his best friend who also happens to be Jewish. The only other people that I would really point out that are pretty significant to the show, at least for our conversation, would be Randy, Stan's dad, who in the past 2 or 3 seasons has almost become the main character of the show. So much so that the intro to the show has focused on Tegrity Farms, his weed farm out in Colorado. And Mr. Garrison, the boy's former 4th grade teacher who became the president of the United States for the past several seasons. But he just returned in the vaccination episode. So they've been staying culturally relevant forever now, but their most recent episodes are these like hour-long specials, which I think you and I both watched both of them. One of them we watched together.
Yeah, you forced me to do so.
So yeah, you got to see Garrison as President Trump.
Yeah, I just didn't think it was very funny. So
yeah, well, there was like I said, they've been doing it for several seasons, so seeing his build up and transformation, it was very Vader-like. They even had a scene where they parodied Darth Vader's helmet coming down onto his head, but instead it was the toupee coming down because Garrison's bald. But this isn't the only time that they've been culturally relevant. And they've been stirring up controversy for years. I think that's why they won the award they did and have been able to stay on the air as long as they have. They've got episodes.
They just won one award. They didn't win numerous.
Nah, I'm sure that they've won some Emmys. Don't make me do.
Sure, we have some
Yeah.
Some half-ass interview. Wait. Did you not do your homework? Are you coming to the podcast unprepared? So I didn't know they got involved in a Fatwa, and a New York group called Revolution Muslim. They were calling for the killing of Stone and Parker.
They have tons of Emmys, by the way. Keep going. Keep going. As well as a boatload of Tonys for the theatrical production The Book of Mormon, which you also saw.
But they brought in the Prophet Muhammad, and you're not supposed to show the Prophet Muhammad as an image. And there are religious fanatics who take this stuff very personally and will kill you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I am always amazed at someone's ability to kill an abortion doctor or a professor or a journalist just because they have a specific belief. And so I'm still astonished that we just kill people altogether. I'm still undecided whether I'm reaching for a taser or a gun. I don't know why we just keep still killing people. That's the part I can't figure. I have not killed anybody in my life. I killed a bee recently because it stung me.
Well,
but I've never killed another human being.
Yeah.
I mean, I've eaten animals, so I guess but either way.
Yeah, I'm not going to go through the laundry list of episodes that they have that are culturally relevant, but the Trapped in the Closet one, you got to pull that leash real tight on me, buddy. You got to pull that leash real tight on me. But in staying in line with religion, they did the Trapped in the Closet episode, which just highlighted everything that Scientologists believe in. And apparently the way that they presented it upset some people in Scientology, such as Tom Cruise and Isaac Hayes, who played Chef on the show. He actually left the show over it. So they
singer?
Go... Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, shit. I like his music.
Yeah. He's a Scientologist. And he left the show. He didn't agree with how they depicted it, but he was okay with how they depicted all these other religions and made fun of all these other people. But then when it came to he had problems with it. So everybody loves South Park until they make fun of them.
Nobody likes to be made fun of. Yeah.
Well, that's why you got to...
Penn, Tom Cruise.
Well, that's why you need to not take yourself so serious. Like, everybody's got to chill out.
Yeah, but I think if it was at a higher level, T, like when you watch the Britney Spears documentary, like that level of scrutiny is just unwarranted and unnecessary.
You know that they did a Britney Spears episode.
I think you've mentioned it several times before.
Uh-huh. And they actually feel somewhat bad about it because, like, just their depiction of it's so accurate, but they, like, brutalize her. And it's pretty true to life.
But I think here's my challenge for you, because I feel like every topic we discuss on this podcast, I feel like you can tie a South Park episode.
Pretty much.
And at some point, I think you should just do that.
Right.
And just tag it on like at the very end and just tee off.
Just be like, and this is the South Park episode that relates to this.
For further insight into such topic, check out South Park.
Yeah, watch this one. It was Britney's new look in season 12.
Look at you.
She ends up getting everybody's following her around and taking pictures of her and everything. So she tries to kill herself. And then they keep taking pictures of her. And it becomes this big, weird, ritualistic thing. So that's where they go off the rails. They always take, they take their creative liberties.
They're staying relevant in the culture. And they're challenging some pretty tough things. And I admire that. I admire anybody doing that.
There was one big one.
I prefer humans do it in like physically maybe having a conversation that's sensible.
Okay. So there's actually one that I remember was a big conversation.
Media or something?
No, it was everywhere. It was everywhere. You remember Terri Schiavo?
Ah, yes. Of course. How can I forget her?
Well, South Park has an episode called Kenny Dies, and it is a direct take on that. It's exactly that situation. Except it's with Kenny instead of Terri Schiavo.
That poor woman.
Right?
Just shown in her worst state every single... They kept running the same clip over and over and over again of her kind of having this half-cracked smile or what everybody presumed to be a smile, knowing nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But interjecting their opinion in just based, again, on their political allegiances.
Yeah.
Yeah, they definitely... And I think Sacha Baron Cohen does the same thing, too. Again, he's just taking the mirror and saying, hey, America, this is what you look like.
Yep.
And yeah, you're right. People don't like to be criticized, or nobody wants to hear the hard truth. I think that's why conversations around like the history of race or voter suppression, when you talk about taking down statues, there's some very painful conversations that people just want to ignore and say, just come on, man, move on. Just forget about it.
Right. That episode also hits on stem cell research as well. Yep.
Sounds like they've covered everything.
They've pretty much covered everything. That's what I've been trying to tell you the whole time.
Yeah, but again, I want I want actual physical adults to have these conversations in a civil manner, maybe while composing legislation to fix the problems of the country and stop just hammering it in all my way or the highway. No bipartisanship.
Right.
I wish people would just civilly work across the spectrum just to have conversations.
Well, is that ever going to happen, though? I mean, realistically, I think,
again, if you believe South Park is a positive influence, maybe if they did more episodes about that. But no, I don't. But I think as it's going to take us, man in the mirror time, people, look in the mirror and be like, aren't you part of the problem too? I'm fully willing to admit that I can turn up the volume really loud. But that doesn't mean I don't want to compromise or I don't want solutions.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, we can just keep talking about problems.
Right. No. I agree. Sometimes finding the solution is difficult. I think these guys are just trying to initiate the conversation, Saif. They're just trying to get people to talk. That's the most that any one person can do from home, right? Or from anywhere.
Audience, yeah.
I mean, you
and I'm not a member of this audience.
Correct.
Purely because of the graphics.
Yes, it isn't for everybody, but they are trying to get people to talk, to have that conversation, and then what they do with it from there. I mean, they can't get you off your ass and make you go vote certain ways.
Are they really trying to make you talk, or are they just trying to make us laugh?
I think that they're honestly trying to make people talk.
And where do you see any indication that this is occurring or is being initiated by Trey and Matt? Is there like a message board or something on the Comedy Central website that we can all go to?
Wait, like to talk to them?
Not to talk to them, but you're saying that this helps to facilitate conversation about the issues.
Oh, yeah.
No, they're just fucking making fun of stuff. That's all they do. And people don't, all you do is when you're done watching South Park, you turn it off and you take another rip of your bong. Okay? That's what you do. You go to the cupboard and you grab some more cookies.
Well, you
don't fucking have a conversation.
I'm looking at episode 50 of the Catch the Sky podcast, and I see us having a conversation right here, right now, motherfucker.
Are we up to 50 episodes?
This is it, buddy. This is it. Can you believe
all
it?
All of this is because, and you're telling me all of this is because of Trey and Matt?
No, not all because of them. But I'm definitely going to give credit where credit is due. They've been.
This is our 50th episode.
That's right. They've been a big influence. I bring it up all the time, and I know that you might get sick and tired of hearing it, but I literally have learned a lot, or at least had important conversations, both with other people, but inwardly. You said, man in the mirror, you have to have that conversation with yourself about what you value and what is important to you in life. What are your morals? What are your goals? What do you want for other people in this world? What do you want to get out of life? And a lot of those conversations started by looking at this situation that was presented in a stupid construction paper cartoon. Analyzing it, realizing that it's satire, relating it to the real world, and trying to figure out, again, a solution to the issue. I think that's what everybody's trying to do. If we all had the answers, then we wouldn't be where we're at, right? The problem is people don't always agree.
Now, I did some more digging, and this South Park's television series has worked its way into the colleges around the country. I know of two instances specifically. The Brooklyn College, adjunct professor Brian Dunphy had a course on South Park and political correctness. And then Tony Johnson Woods wrote a book called Blame Canada, South Park and Contemporary Culture, and she's a senior lecturer at the University of Queensland in Australia, mate.
Look at that. They're
Dingo
worldwide.
babies.
They're worldwide.
So, yeah, I think there's also a Beatles class, and there are various other perspectives, again, that you can tie these types of things to. And I'm not against the idea. I don't know, maybe if there was broader support, maybe you and I could talk about South Park on a more regular basis. Like, we could just analyze a specific episode on a specific topic, maybe something relevant. I know we wanted to hit on police matters.
Yeah, among other things. So we will get into all sorts of different shit and keep you posted, as we always do, on our various social media pages.
Is there anything else you wanted to add before you sign off?
Oh, God. You managed to keep me clear of Team America this entire time. So you can pat yourself on the back for that.
Team America could be an entire episode by itself.
Right. It could be.
And honestly, based on what I read about it, I have enough intel to get that conversation started.
I mean, you saw it, right? I mean, it's been a while. I know.
Of course I saw it.
Yeah. Of course you saw that.
Yeah. But you know what I saw more of? Coming to America, too, with actual humans in it.
Well, these
Not
guys...
that I don't love puppet fodder, you know?
Well, these guys don't have...
If you're putting people out of work, T, okay? Actors and actresses deserve a job.
Well, these guys made their own jobs. Actresses and actresses can go make their own jobs, too. Make their own goddamn shows. But no, I think this was a good behind-the-scenes analysis of South Park a little bit. We did behind-the-scenes analysis of our show, let people see behind that curtain, and now I'm glad that we took that perspective with this show.
Yeah, it ties into us. It's part of who we are. It's part of your DNA for sure. That's for damn sure.
It's part of a lot that we do here. I think more so than you realize. I don't mean to bring it up all the time, but people learn in different ways, man.
And that's actually probably the greatest point you could have made about the legitimacy and what South Park is doing. Because I would agree, it is teaching, and everybody learns in different ways.
That's right.
I just do my learning a little differently, more traditional, I guess.
Mm-hmm. I'm learning
Get
from
off
the
my
streets.
lawn. I'm gonna learn from fucking cartoons.
Mm-hmm.
Like Pepe Le Pew.
That's right, buddy.
Is that what we're learning? Okay, fine. Learn.
Throw the books out, Safe.
That's right. Burn them. Burn the books. Just put the cartoons on. Cardi B.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, God. Thank you. Thank you so much. So if you care to interact with us, you may do so on Facebook or Instagram by searching for the Catch the Sky podcast, or on Twitter at CTS Terri or at CTS Saif. And until next week, keep trying to catch the sky.